Mr. President, just to continue on that, when the NATO leaders gather in Chicago in May, do you expect that they'll be able to agree on a transition strategy? And are you concerned at all that the Koran burning and the episodes that have followed since then threaten your ability to negotiate with the partners?
Well, keep in mind that the transition policy was in place and established at Lisbon. And we've been following that strategy that calls for us turning over increasing responsibility to Afghans and a full transition so that our combat role is over by the end of 2014. And our coalition partners have agreed to it. They are sticking with it. That continues to be the plan. What we are now going to be doing over the next, at this NATO meeting and planning for the next 2 years, is to make sure that that transition is not a cliff, but that there are benchmarks and steps that are taken along the way in the same way that we reduced our role in Iraq so that it is gradual, Afghan capacity is built, the partnering with Afghan security forces is effective, that we are putting in place the kinds of support structures that are needed in order for the overall strategy to be effective. Now, yes, the situation with the Koran burning concerns me. I think that it is an indication of the challenges in that environment, and it's an indication that now is the time for us to transition. Obviously, the violence directed at our people is unacceptable, and President Karzai acknowledged that. But what is also true is President Karzai, I think, is eager for more responsibility on the Afghan side. We're going to be able to find a mechanism whereby Afghans understand their sovereignty is being respected and that they're going to be taking a greater and greater role in their own security. That, I think, is in the interest of Afghans. It's also in our interests. And I'm confident we can execute, but it's not going to be a smooth path. There are going to be bumps along the road, just as there were in Iraq.
Well, are these bumps along the road, or are you seeing a deterioration in the relationship based on the Koran burning itself, the violence that has followed, that inhibits your ability to work out things like how to hand off the detention center?
No, none of this stuff is easy, and it never has been. And obviously, the most recent riots or protests against the Koran burning were tragic. But remember, this happened a while back when a pastor in Florida threatened to burn a Koran. In Iraq, as we were making this transition, there were constant crises that would pop up and tragic events that would take place, and there would be occasional setbacks. But what I've tried to do is to set a course, make sure that up and down the chain of command everybody knows what our broader strategy is. And one of the incredible things about our military is that when they know what our objective is, what our goal is, regardless of the obstacles that they meet along the way, they get the job done. And I think that President Karzai understands that we are interested in a strategic partnership with the Afghan people and the Afghan government. We are not interested in staying there any longer than is necessary to assure that al-Qaeda is not operating there and that there is sufficient stability that it doesn't end up being a free-for-all after ISAF has left. And so we share interests here. It'll require negotiations, and there will be time where things don't look as smooth as I'd like. That's kind of the deal internationally on a whole range of these issues. All right? Thank you, guys.